Hello children, welcome to biology class. We are discussing Whittaker's 5 kingdom classification. We discussed kingdom Monera and kingdom Protista last week. Today we are going to discuss kingdom fungi. We will discuss the general characteristics of kingdom fungi today and the types and the classes we will discuss on next day. Okay, shall we start? Children, we are going to discuss about kingdom fungi. We know that fungi consist of a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms, isn't it? Heterotrophic means they can't produce their own food. They have to depend on other organisms, isn't it? They show a great diversity in morphology and habitat. You know the representative members of kingdom fungi. Today we can discuss the general characteristics of kingdom fungi. Okay. So we know that you seen these fungi on moist bread and rotten fruits, isn't it? The common mushroom you eat, this picture. This is a common edible mushroom you eat, and the toad tools are also fungi. This is a representative example of toad tools. Okay, both are mushrooms, but what is its difference? In layman's language, the toad tool is poisonous and mushroom is non-poisonous. It is edible. So, layman used to use the term mushroom for edible fungi and toad tool for poisonous fungi. Okay, so the difference is not there in our textbook. But for your information, I add this table. Let's check what is the difference between mushroom and toad tools. A fungal growth which takes the form of domed cap on a stalk with gills on the underside of a cap. The cap of mushroom can be peeled and normally they grow on wood. They are edible. It's very important. Okay, edible and hence not poisonous. Cultivated white button mushroom. That diagram I given here. Okay, this example for mushroom. Then toad tools, the spore-bearing fruiting bodies of fungi in the form of a rounded cap on a stalk, especially believed to be inedible or poisonous. Okay, probably have white gills, a skirt or ring on the stem, and bulbous or sac-like base, and their cap or stem can be red in color. And the peculiarity is they are inedible or poisonous. Amanita muscaria example. So this difference is not there in our textbook, but that sentence is given in our textbook. To the common mushroom you eat and toad tools are also fungi. So that's why I just add this table to understand the difference between mushroom and toad tools. Okay, clear? Then, white spots seen on mustard leaves are due to parasitic fungus. I show you the diagram. Here, can see white spot on leaf of mustard. Then, some unicellular fungi, yeast, are used to make bread and beer. I know you are familiar with yeast. The scientific name, this is a diagram of yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae. That is yeast. And this is the microscopic view of yeast. Okay, here you can see the mode of reproduction, isn't it? Then, other fungi causes diseases in plants and animals. Wheat rust causing Puccinia is an example for that. Here you can see rust on wheat leaf. Okay. Then some are the source of antibiotics, penicillium, an important fungus, penicillium. From that we produce the antibiotic penicillin. The first produced antibiotic. It was an accidental discovery, but it was very useful. It is an important antibiotic. Fungi are cosmopolitan and occurs in air, water, soil and on animals and plants. They prefer to grow in warm and humid places. Children, have you ever wondered why we keep food in refrigerator? Yeah, it is to prevent foods from going bad due to bacteria or fungal infections, right? So with the exception of yeast, which are unicellular, fungi are filamentous.
So we can discuss about their structure. Their body consists of long, slender, thread-like structure called hyphae. 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 Okay. And this network of hyphae is known as mycelium. Mycelium. Clear? So their body consists of long, slender, thread-like structure called hyphae, and the network of hyphae is called mycelium. Okay. Then some hyphae are continuous tubes filled with multinucleated cytoplasm. They are called cenocytic hyphae. But in some others, we can see septa. Septa means cross walls, okay, in their hyphae, and they are known as septate hypha. Here you can see septa in between cross walls. You can see that is septate hypha. This is cenocytic hypha. Clear? So which are the two types of cyta? First one is cenocytic. We know that some hypha are continuous tubes filled with multinucleated cytoplasm. Observe this diagram. Cenocytic hypha is clear, but in some others we can see in between some septa or crossing walls. Clear? That is septate hypha. Okay. Then their cell wall are composed of two important materials. First one is chitin and second one is polysaccharide. So you can expect 1 mark question from this part. The cell wall of fungi are made up of, yes, chitin and polysaccharides. Clear? Then most fungi are heterotrophic, we know it, and absorb soluble organic matter from dead substrates and hence are called saprophytes. We know that organisms which lives on dead organic material are known as saprophytes. Then some other category of fungi, they depend on living plants and animals. That's why they are known as parasites. Those depend on other organisms are known as parasites. Then we can also see some symbiotic biological relationship. Symbiosis means both are beneficial, okay? Both are helping each other. That is symbiosis. That means some fungi live in association with algae. As lichens, and with roots of higher plants are known as mycorrhiza. That means if fungi which live in association with algae is known as lichen, and if fungi which lives in association with plants are known as mycorrhiza. So this is a symbiosis. The symbiosis is known as mycorrhiza, fungi plus plants. Okay, fungi plus algae is known as lichens, then fungi plus plants, mycorrhiza. Clear? Then about their reproduction. There are vegetative means of reproduction, asexual means of reproduction, and sexual means of reproduction. Vegetative means by fragmentation, fission, and budding. This is fragmentation. Small fragments are formed from it. This is fragmentation. Then budding. What is budding? Yeah, small bud-like structure will form, and from the small bud, new organism will arise. I just showed you the microscopic view of Saccharomyces cerevisiae, that is of yeast, isn't it? So in that diagram, it is very clear the formation of bud was there. Then fission. What is fission? Yeah, a single organism is divided into two and two new organisms will form from that. Okay. So which are the three vegetative means of reproduction? Yeah, first one is fragmentation, then fission, then budding. Okay. Then asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is produced by spores. Okay, it is known as conidia or sporangiospores or zoospores. Okay, and sexual reproduction is by oospores, ascospores, basidiospores, depends on organisms. Okay, so the various spores are produced in distinct structures called fruiting bodies. So here the first one is arthrospores. Here we can see chlamydospores. Here you can see sporangiospores and conidiospores, blastospores, etc. Okay, children, and from the spores new organisms will arise. Then the sexual cycle involves the following three steps. Which are they? The first one, fusion of protoplasm between two motile or no-motile gamete called plasmogamy. What is plasmogamy? Fusion of protoplasm between two motile or non-motile gamete. Then fusion of nuclei, that called karyogamy. Then the third step, meiosis and zygote resulting in haploid spores. Meiosis means reductional division. It's a type of cell division where the reductional division is happening, that is meiosis. So which are the three stages or three steps of sexual cycles? Yeah, fusion of protoplasm, that is plasmogamy, fusion of nuclei, that is karyogamy, then meiosis. Okay, so this is the diagrammatic representation of that. Here you can see a fruiting bodies, then mitosis normal. Yeah, we can start from here. Then from here, the karyogamy, the basidia form diploid nuclei, then zygote formed, they undergo meiosis. 4 haploid nuclei are formed in the basidium. Okay, so here basidium with 4 nuclei, that is haploid, 1n. Then they again undergo cell division, 4 basidiospores are formed, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then their dispersal and germination, and these spores are known as basidiospores. What does N indicate? Yeah, haploid number of chromosomes. Okay. Then they undergo germination, mycelia, the body will form. There are 2 mating types, plus and minus. Imagine this is plus mating type and this is negative mating type. Children, there are no male and female organisms, so we can use this plus and minus sign for that. Then fusion of protoplasm, that is plasmogamy, fusion between plus and minus mating type result in the formation of dikaryotic mycelium. See the fusing body. Then they undergo mitosis, that means the equational division. They under right environmental condition, a basidiocarp forms. Then the gills of the basidiocarp contain cells called basidia and new organism will form. Clear? Okay. When the fungus reproduce sexually, 2 haploid hyphae of compatible mating types come together and fuse. That we represented here. 2 different types come together and they fuse. In some fungi, the fusion of 2 haploid cells immediately result in diploid cells. However, in other fungi, ascomycetes and basidiomycetes, that I represented the diagram here, an intervening dikaryotic stage, that is N plus N, that is 2 nuclei per cell, okay, occurs. This condition is dikaryon and this phase is known as dikaryophase. So being basidiomycetes, here you can see dikaryotic mycelium. Now it's clear what is dikaryotic mycelium. The intervening dikaryotic stage, N plus N, 2 nuclei per cell occurs. Later, the parent nuclei fuse and the cells become diploid. So, the fungi form fruiting bodies in which reduction division occurs, leading to the formation of haploid spores. Okay. So, that's about general structure. The morphology of mycelium, mode of spore formation, fruiting bodies form the basis for the division of kingdom into various classes. So, we have to study various classes of kingdom fungi that we can explain in next class. So, I hope the general characteristics of kingdom fungi is clear to you. Study well. Okay, read the textbook. Then study well. Then answer the test question. Okay, children.